before we start. Okay, so let's start by introducing our tax accountant who will explain the new invoice system for today. We have Shinpei Wakana. Shinpei is a KU University alumni and has 10 years of experience and offers personalized and friendly support completely in English to make sure that you're on the same page. So he is a CPA or certified public accountant, an expert in corporate tax and sales tax, uh, who is also specializing in tax audits for small and medium-sized companies. You can visit their website below. I can also send that later on chat. I would like Shinpei to introduce himself as well.
And one thing, sorry, Shinfi. It's Xero and QuickBooks is an American accounting software, and Xero is an Australian one used worldwide.
Yeah, or New Zealand or Australia.
Cool. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. And this is Shinpei Wakana. First of all, thank you for attending our webinar today. And before we start, a little about myself. As he said, I'm a registered tax accountant at Matchpoint Tax Accounting Firm. I've been working with talent businesses just like yours all across Japan for the last 11 years. And today, I'm going to talk about the qualified invoice system. If you didn't already know, this system starts this October 1st. As an accountant, I have to tell you, this system is very complicated and everyone is puzzled. What is the system for? What will change and what must be done? But no worries. In spite of how complicated it appears, there are only 3 or 4 key considerations. So I'm going to explain important things, and this will help you make some critical decision about whether you should register or not, what you should do in advance, and what you should do after this system begins. And we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. In the Q&A, we will cover more generic questions that would apply to most people. For more specific questions, we can exchange emails and follow up later. Okay, thank you very much. Is it okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Pete, thanks for sharing the link.
Yep.
Cool. So the new invoice system and Q&A. So a summary of today. So I think we'll go over the consumption tax system, the explanation of the new invoice system. What do you have to do in advance? And how do you need to change your invoices? We won't go into too much detail, but after that, Shinpei is going to share some of the other changes in taxes and accounting in 2023 and 2024. And after that, we'll have some Q&A time. And yeah, if you do have a question while he's explaining, so if something's not clear, feel free to put it in the chat. So explanation of consumption taxes.
Okay, let's go on to the first topic. Firstly, I'd like to tell you about consumption tax, maybe sales tax, because the qualified invoice system is regulated for only consumption tax. So it has nothing to do with individual income tax, corporate tax, or inhabitant tax. So I'm going to explain this tax law first. And consumption tax, VAT in Europe, is levied when the business enterprise transfers goods, provides services, or imports goods into Japan. The tax rate is 10%. For certain goods, such as food, is 8%. And specified transactions such as sales or lease of land, sales of securities, and provision of public services are not subject to taxation. enterprises whose taxable sales are 10 million yen or less for 2 years ago are exempt from consumption tax filing and liability. For example, if you surpass taxable sales over 10 million yen in 2023, you have consumption tax liability from your 2025 fiscal year. The tax liability means giving the sale tax you collected to the government. Consumption
Yeah,
tax.
and it's
Sorry.
yeah, and that's a huge point. And so when
Yeah.
I do financial simulation sheets,
Yeah.
I actually make it with we actually don't include the sales. It's the total profit is based on non-sales tax because you don't actually own that money. It's the government money if you're a taxable, let's say,
Yeah.
entity.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. And consumption tax on taxable purchases may be deducted from consumption tax on taxable sales when calculating the amount of consumption tax to be paid. So taxable sale minus taxable purchase is your sales tax payment. The total sales tax you need to pay the government is the sales tax you collected minus the sales tax you paid other companies. And after this October 1st, taxable purchases other than those from business enterprises of qualified invoices will no longer be eligible for deduction of consumption tax on purchases.
And so how it works is, let's say I have 10 million yen in sales.
Yeah.
Then 10% of that is 1 million yen. So
Yeah.
I collected 1 million yen in sales taxes.
Yeah.
On the other end, let's say I've purchased about 5 million yen. So I've
Yeah.
spent about 500,000 yen.
Yeah.
In this case, I would have to pay the government 500,000 yen.
Yeah, that's correct.
Cool. So I mean, I know the answer, just to help everyone understand. So that's what it means. So you'd have to pay the government 500,000 because you've already paid 500,000.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I need to mention that consumption tax or sales tax, since I'm not sure which one sounds more natural to express shohizei. So I use both words in this webinar. Okay, and in other words, if you don't register, your business partner will not be able to deduct sales tax when they pay you. Their tax payment will increase a little bit. This might be a bit problem for the partner, and they might ask you for a discount. However, a transitional measure has been established to treat a certain percentage of the amount equivalent to the consumption tax on purchases to be deductible. And simply put, your business partner can deduct 80% of the consumption tax they paid to you in case you didn't register. This transitional measure lasts 3 years. For the following 3 years, they can deduct 50%. Because of this, it won't be a big problem right now. So you don't need to rush to register. Okay, thank you. This is the explanation of basic consumption tax.
And
yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other point is so if you target predominantly B2C customers.
Yeah.
So let's say you're an English school.
Yeah.
And you're a sole proprietor and you don't have any corporate clients, you just have normal people.
Yeah.
So I know the answer, Shinpei, but what happens in this case?
Well, I'm gonna talk about later, but
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
okay, but I mentioned now. And if you run a B2C business, it's like you have a customers, not clients, like convenience store or taxi driver like that. I think you shouldn't register because you don't have a business partner. They aren't a taxable person, so it it has nothing to do with you. Am I making sense? It's okay. Is it okay?
Yeah, they're not a
Yeah.
corporate entity,
Yeah.
and so they don't have to pay sales tax.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So could I go on to the explanation of invoices?
Yes. So
The
I
second
actually would like
section.
you to, I would like you to tell me when to move the slide.
Okay. Okay, so let's go on to the next topic. Okay, number two, an explanation of qualified invoice system. In this part, I'm going to talk about the outline of the new invoice system. The qualified invoice system is a method to receive a tax deduction for consumption tax. Under the system, for the buyer to receive a tax deduction for consumption tax on purchases, retention of a qualified invoice issued by the business enterprises of qualified invoice will be required. For the seller to issue a qualified invoice, it must be registered as a business enterprises of qualified invoice by the tax office.
Yep. So moving forward, you have to be registered as a qualified, or let's
Yeah.
say business enterprise who can do
Yeah.
a qualified invoice.
Yeah, registered to be qualified invoice system enterprises. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just making it in simple English. It's so if you are registered as a, let's say, if you use the qualified invoice system, you're
Yeah.
registered as a taxable company.
Yeah.
The person, the purchaser or the buyer.
Yeah.
So in this case, let's say I'm selling to you with sales tax, you can deduct that sales tax amount from your
Yeah.
sales tax burden that you have to pay to the government.
Yes.
Okay, please
Thank you.
continue.
And when you register, you become a taxable person, even if your taxable sales 2 years ago are below 10 million yen. Consumption tax must be filed and paid every year. And if you are a non-taxable person, you don't need to file a consumption tax return and make the consumption tax payment, but you can still charge your client's consumption tax normally. Therefore, for the non-taxable persons, the consumption tax is simply the revenue. However, in 2023, the new system will be introduced and you may have to become a taxable person. Taxable purchases made from parties other than business enterprises of qualified invoice, such as tax exempt businesses and consumers, are not eligible for a tax deduction for consumption tax. Taxable persons want to deduct consumption tax they charge their customers. So they would purchase products or services from taxable persons rather than non-taxable persons.
So I think, yeah, the point Shinpei wants to mention is because this invoice system is changing,
Yeah.
for those of you like myself included, where
Yeah.
the sales tax is just extra, it's free money.
Yeah.
It's free money in a way, so why not charge it? So you can get that extra money. But
Yeah.
from with this new system, it's going to it's going to affect your interactions with corporate clients. So
Yeah.
anyone who's registered, not like big corporation, just anyone who's a company, an LLC.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah, basically as a sole proprietor, sorry, basically consumption tax is national tax, so you have to pay to the government. But if you are a non-taxable person, yeah, you can get the consumption tax revenue.
Until now.
Yeah, until now. Yeah.
Unfortunately. But there, and Shinpei will explain later, it's not as bad as we think next year. It's
Yeah.
gonna be bad from
It's not
2025,
such a
I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna share with you and who does it affect. And there are 3 cases. So I'm gonna explain one by one. And okay, let's go to the case A. Case A means taxable sales 2 years ago over 10 million yen. It means you're already a taxable person right now. In this case, you have to register. If you haven't registered yet, just hand in a document to the government. I'm going to tell you how you can submit the document later. But in this case, it's no choice to consider whether you should register or not. Yeah.
So it makes, if you make over 10 million yen the year,
Yeah.
you become a taxable, sales taxable entity.
Yeah.
Or liable for sales tax.
Yeah, you're already a taxable person, so you just have to register. Okay, and case B, it's the most difficult things. And if you run a B2B business, you have clients, and your taxable sales 2 years ago under 10 million yen. It means you are a non-taxable person right now and running B2B business. And it's case by case. To sum up, it depends on the relationship with the other party, with your business partner or clients. Yeah. I think you should register if your partner tells you to register.
Partner being business partner.
Yeah,
or
business
client,
partner or
sorry, clients.
Yeah, clients. And I'm going to talk about later, but there is a special exception where you don't have to pay so much consumption tax, even if you don't, even if you register and become taxable person. And if you have a good relationship with your partner or clients and they don't ask anything to you, you don't have to register right now. So only case B is a little bit difficult. Yeah. And okay, let's go to the case C. Case C means if you run a B2C business and your taxable sales 2 years ago are under 10 million yen, as I mentioned before, you shouldn't register. It means you have customers and your customers are a non-taxable person and you're running a kaiwa school or taxi driver, convenience store, grocery store, you have customers. There's no problem if you don't register. So I think you shouldn't register. Yeah, and case A, B, C, I have presented 3 cases. Only case B needs to be considered. Case A person have to register. Case C person shouldn't register. Only case B. If
And in,
you are,
sorry. I have a question about case A, but can I ask that now, or are you going to finish, or are you going to move to the next section?
It's okay.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I'm in case A.
Yeah.
So 2023, or thanks to your help. So everyone, I'm actually not a taxable. I'm not liable for sales tax for 2022. Thanks to Shinpei, my revenue in 2022 was 9.97 or 98 million yen. Thanks to your magic.
Yeah.
So I'm not let's say it's liable, but for this year I will be liable. So what that means is, I mean, I know the answer, but just so people can understand.
Yeah.
I'll be liable.
Yeah.
In 2025.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to pay 100%
Yeah.
until 2025 fiscal year.
Yeah, you are 10 million, under 10 million in 2023. So you're non-taxable person by 2024. Yeah.
And,
So
so I'll be liable for 2025, which I'll pay in 2026.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to move back to the US at
Yeah.
the end of 2025. Okay, but just to clarify for everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
Please continue.
okay. Okay, let's go to the next. And yeah, how does that it's very simple. How does it affect and when does it affect? It's really simple. How does it affect? You just have to add your tax ID number to the invoices. I'll explain in detail later. Yeah, okay. And let's go to the when does it affect? When does it affect? It's and from this October 1st, 2023. Yeah. Okay, this is the explanation of the qualified invoice system. It might sound a little difficult, but it's okay. And let's go on to the next topic. Thank you. In this topic, and I like to talk about what do you have to do in advance.
Please continue. I'm getting the link for
Okay. Thank you.
for everyone here.
When you decide to register, what do you need to do in advance? The answer, it's very easy. You just submit a document to a tax agent and you can offer your accountant to submit. And I like to show the document.
Oh, cool. I'll let me get that. Right. And I've put it in the chat.
Yeah.
So you can download it.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's Japanese only, but it's there's no English version, but it's really easy. You just need to fill in the name of the company and name of the representative, plus a few checks. And on the second page, yeah, there's, and you just check hi. That's it. There are 5 yes or no questions, 5 or 6. Maybe 5.
Yeah, I think around 5 yes or no's.
You need to check 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5.
And that's if you're, because you're registering to become a taxable.
Yeah. You should just 3 high. Number 1 and 3 and 5.
Yeah, because 4 means have you ever been penalized financially, I think, or have you ever been penalized for breaking consumption tax law?
Yeah. I believe you're not.
And the second one is it
tax
doesn't
agent.
like let's say so 1, 3, and 5.
Sorry. 1, 2, 4. And at the top of the questions, you check the high. Yeah.
Kaze Jigyosha. I'm assuming.
Second question, tax agent.
This
answer.
Sorry, never mind. Yeah, you put yes.
And number 4, you haven't penalized. Yeah. That's it. And at the page 1, you fill in your name or company's name.
Yes, you click down Kaze Jigyosha.
Kaze Jigyosha means taxable person, and Menzei Jigyosha means non-taxable person.
And so if you're still going to be mense, like if I just do B2C,
Yeah.
I need to do this form?
No. Yeah. In Tyson-san.
Oh, let's say
History.
my client is English school, or
Oh.
let's say they only target B2C. Do they need to do this form?
Nothing.
Okay.
If you submit this document, you're registered. So as I mentioned before, in the case C, you run a B2C business and taxable sales under 10 million yen, you have nothing to do with this. You don't have to submit anything.
Thank you for confirming. Anything else on this document, or could we move on?
Thank you. And I like one more. Once you submit this, you will receive a registration number from the tax office. And for corporations, the rules are set. T plus 12-digit number, 12-digit corporate number, so you can look them up in advance. This is because all companies are given a corporate ID number, tax ID number. There are no exceptions. And it is publicly, but it's not dangerous at all for anyone to be known. And I like to share some.
I'll let you share your screen.
Okay. Still not. Yeah. I like to continue to explain more. And
Okay.
A 12-digit corporate number, you can see your number by searching in English corporate number publication site and enter the prefecture and company's name.
Yeah, I was looking for the site name, but do you have, what is it again?
And corporate number publication site.
Wait, let me stop sharing. Number publication site. Gotcha. And I'll put the link in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
And Pete, if you could add that to the document, that would be very helpful.
And this site, company's name or prefectures, and so on, and you can search. Uh-oh.
Or maybe it's in katakana then. Can you search in Romaji?
Romaji. Oh. Maybe Wanko English didn't register for English name.
No, it's in Japanese.
Yeah. In this case, and you can search in Japanese Hojin Bango.
So it'd be a different site for Japanese.
Yeah, different site for Japanese.
Gotcha. So it'll probably just be Japanese. I see. I didn't know that.
Or
well, that's definitely not Japanese.
Yeah, the site. There's one English and search.
Sorry,
yeah.
come with it.
Yeah, got it. You can see corporate number under Hojin Bango. It's the left side. Yeah. If you register, your tax ID number will be T plus this 12-digit number.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, for example, this Wanko English ID number is T40111010, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, but if you are a sole proprietor, you will not see the number until you receive a notice from and tax office. And when the registration is made, the name of the registered invoice issuers and their registration numbers can be confirmed through the website of the National Tax Agency. So your tax ID number also publicly. To be a registered invoice issuer from October 1st, the application must be submitted on or before September 30th, at the end of September. This is a deadline if you like to register from October 1st. Okay, now I'd like to go on to the next topic. Yeah. The next topic is, how do you need to change your invoices? Yes. What exactly do we need to change on the invoice? The bottom line, it's amazingly simple. Just put an additional registration number on it. This will be in the form of adding the 6th item of the previous 5 items. Okay, I'd like to, could I put it on the chat? I have
Yes.
required information. Okay. One more. Oh, sorry. I put it in the chat, and there are 6 required information: invoice issuer name and registration number. This is the difference. And transaction date, transaction details, total price, total consumption tax, and client's name. This is the same as before. And also, I like to share a template of invoices. I found a great website. And Taiso-san, could you share the slide?
Yeah, if you could, if you could put the link in the chat, I'll load it up.
Okay. So I'll put it in the chat for.
And Pete, please add this link to the document.
Okay. So I'll send it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Pete. And let me
Thank you. This is a template.
can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
At first glance, it's an ordinary invoice, but look at the upper left. You can see the VAT registration number. This is the difference. Only one difference. The important thing is that the registration number is on the invoice. If this is on the invoice you receive, they are registered. It means. If not, they didn't register. So you can see whether your partners registered or not. And you can understand if you look at your invoices you receive. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Tyson-san, about this?
No, I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
I think you explained it clearly.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the next topics. Any other changes coming? Yeah. I'd like to talk about any other changes according to qualified invoice system. This section deals with other issues for invoices, and I have 2 points here: simplified qualified invoice and 20% rule. I like to go with simplified qualified invoice first. Well, simplified qualified invoice, this means simplify means kanji in Japanese. It's a simplify. For transaction involving a large number of customers, customers mean retailers, restaurants, taxis, and so on. A simplified qualified invoice, which doesn't require the invoice recipient name to be stated, can be issued instead. It's easy to understand if you imagine the receipt. In a business with many customers, it would be too strict if you have to write the name of each customer to be accepted as a qualified invoice. Therefore, it can be accepted as a qualified invoice without the customer's name.
And in this case, it's does this include large number of B2B clients or just B2C?
Just B2C.
Okay, so yeah,
If
just
you run,
B2C.
You run a restaurant, a private school, retailers, you have customers in this case.
So you can have the invoices that you give to customers.
Yeah.
And yet you don't need to have their names then.
Yeah, you don't need to
Gotcha.
write this thing.
So it's normal like when I invoice. Yeah, never mind, because yeah, you'd pay.
Yeah, if you run a
That makes
B2B,
sense.
you have to write a client's name at number 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Just,
next I'd
go
like
ahead.
to talk about 20% rule. This new invoicing rule will have a significant impact on small businesses. They are not required to file a consumption tax because of their annual sales. However, due to the new invoicing rule, some of them need to file it after October 2023. This is an additional cost, tax payment. Given that
Yeah.
there
And this point that we're going to cover next, it's for those who are under 10,000 or 10 million who deal with B2B,
yeah,
or if you are a corporate who are dealing with sole proprietors,
yeah,
this next point is extremely important.
yeah. Given that there will be a new rule for them. If a non-taxable person under 10 million yen become a taxable person because of the registration. You are a non-taxable person and you submit the document and you become a taxable person. Their consumption tax payment can be 20% of their annual sales tax. For example, if your annual sales are 6 million and 600,000 yen, it means 6 million sales plus 600,000 yen sales tax, 10%. In this case, consumption tax payment with 20% rule above 120,000 yen. This can be calculated by multiplying 600,000 yen of consumption tax by 20%. Yeah. And let's say I have one business partner that pays for the whole 6 million and 600,000 yen. How much of the 600,000 yen can they deduct here? As you see, this will reduce a consumption tax payment.
So to clarify what that means is so if I'm under, let's say I'm a non-taxable person.
Yeah.
My annual sales is 6.6 million yen.
Yeah.
Let's say my sales tax burden is 10% of that, which is 600,000.
Yeah.
20% of that is 120,000 yen.
Yeah.
So in this case, if I only had one client.
Yeah.
Let's say my wife. It's so I have one client. So the 100, I would pay the government 120,000 yen for the sales tax. I collected 600,000 yen.
Yeah.
But I'll pay the government 20%, which is 120,000 yen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And for my client, let's say my client, my wife, in her case, she has to pay sales tax.
Yeah.
The amount, and she paid 600,000 yen of sales tax to me.
Yeah.
How much of that can she deduct from her sales tax burden?
And 80%.
Gotcha. Yeah. So in
Yeah.
her case, yeah, it'd be like 48.
So
And does everyone understand this point? I think this is a really hard point to understand.
yeah,
But if you don't or need an explanation of, please message in the chat or.
okay, so I'd like to continue the explanation.
Yes.
Yeah, this 20% rule will be available from this October to September 2026 for 3 years. In other words, even if you don't register right now, you and your clients will not be imposed a significant tax increase. This concludes the description of Chapter 5.
Excellent.
Just-
And
yeah.
so I think I have one question
Yeah.
that I think probably people would want to know. And let's go to Jared's question.
Okay.
So his question is,
Yeah.
it's regarding the Ryoshisho. I think his example was I think the simplified rule. His question is regarding the simplified qualified
Ryoshisho.
invoice.
Yeah, simply qualified invoice system.
And I'll let you read the question.
How does this change?
And Jared, is this to B2C or B2B? Is it to your language school
Sorry,
students? Or
I
maybe
think it's probably easier if I just talk, if that's okay.
go for it.
So my question basically is, like, we go to restaurants or we buy from Amazon and we do all this stuff, and we always right now we usually just use our credit card for stuff, and that's usually good enough. But now the other person has to have a tax ID for us to be able to deduct that from our consumption tax burden, or how does that work for things like that? You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm going to a restaurant and I get a receipt and I claim that receipt against my consumption tax later, does that receipt from that restaurant need a tax ID? Like, what if it's a mom and pop shop, but we had like a business meeting there?
Restaurant. If this restaurant registered, it has to be a tax number on it. If nothing, and you can deduct 80% of your consumption tax payment.
Just curious,
So-
how do you find out that tax number?
You mean like in a B2C case?
Well, like the case that he just explained, I mean, is the tax number written on the receipt, or how do you find that out?
I believe it's supposed to be from now on. That's one of the main points of this whole system.
Shinpei, do you understand their question?
Maybe 50%, sorry.
Okay, so I think their question is so I think you answered Jared's question, but so I guess Tia's question is, when you go to a restaurant, so you go to a traditionally B2C business.
Yeah.
But you're writing it off as a business expense. Will the restaurants usually are they going to start putting the tax number on it?
Yeah. If they register.
Yeah, if they register, right?
It has to be the tax number on it.
Yeah, so if they are registered, it will be on the receipt. If not, it won't be.
Yeah.
I think is his answer there.
So can I follow up by asking, if some places register or some places don't register, is that up to us to find out if they register, or if they don't have a tax number, assume that they're not registered?
I see, yeah. So Shinpei. And I think in that case, it's you can search their corporate name as well.
Yeah.
Using the link that Shinpei provided earlier.
That's a lot of work. Even if, do we just give that to our tax accountant and maybe the tax accountant maybe bills us for that search?
I think that's probably a question for your accountant, but I'll ask Shinpei. Shinpei,
Yeah.
would an accountant search for that number for their client?
Well, still not. And
So my question is,皆さんが気になってることは、例えばその税番号が書いてない場合、それがもうしょうがない。また、まあ、もう一個の質問が、その会計士が探してくれる。それか、それが自分の責任、普通。
search 探す。
例えばその領収書が入って、税番号が書いてなくて、会計士がお客さんの代わりに探してくれませんか、普段。
レシピについては、speaking of the recipe, it still has an argument. And
is it kind of 自分の責任?
And it depends on
the accountant, right?
Yeah.
But Tia, my guess would be if you're paying 30,000 yen for an accountant, they will probably not search for it. But if you're paying 100,000, this is my guess. If you're at the 100,000 yen tier, maybe they'll do it. But Shinpei, I think 30,000 yen monthly, they probably won't search, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the margins are too small, I think, for them to help there.
And I understand what he said. And so he says small places won't be tax deductible, such as restaurants, small sushi shops. And speaking of recipe, 領収書, it still argument. It has an argument and argue. Yeah, this country is still discussion about this. As you said, small sushi shop will lose business if they don't register.
The government's still debating it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
thank you.
Basically, it's going to be a one-off chance. You go to the small shop, you find out they don't have a tax deductible or tax number, and then you just lose out that meal, being able to deduct those taxes. But you're going to have to make the decision whether you're going to go back there anymore, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Ryan summed it up. Okay. So if they don't have the tax number, it's you will be unable to deduct 20% of that sales tax amount.
It's worth 20% cost to be sure that.
So if you spend, let's say you have a meal with a client, you spend 20,000 yen, sales tax is 2,000 yen. 20% of that is probably 400 yen. So with 400 yen, you cannot deduct that from your sales tax amount.
Yeah.
So you have the 80%, and I think that's until 2026, Shinpei?
Yeah.
So I think that they're probably, my guess is they're giving themselves a hedge. Yep. Yeah. Then that's 2026. Then from 2026 to 2029, it's 50%.
Yeah. And yes, after I think that, 0%.
Wait a minute, is it 20% of the estimated tax, or is it 20% of the actual bill? So if you have a 10,000 yen bill,
no, this is regarding just
80%.
I think
isn't that how it works?
Shinpei, I think they got. Okay, I think I understand now. It's so Shinpei. So the 20, this is only for sales tax, right? Not the let's say I go to a sushi shop. I spend 20,000 yen or maybe 22,000 yen with sales tax.
Make it 10.
Yes, please don't interrupt. And it's so it's 22,000 yen. And so their question is, can I still deduct the 22,000 or 20,000 yen or 22,000 yen, 20,000 as a sales expense.
Expense is right.
Yeah, it's separate, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I think some of you guys might have gotten confused. It's
sorry.
not the price of the product or service. This is changes for the sales consumption tax.
I got
Is that correct?
Sorry for confusion. And today
we're just talking about.
I'm just talking about sales tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the confusion got. So Shinpei, to
so-
concern, so if they pay 22,000 yen.
Yeah.
They pay 22,000 yen. They can write off 20,000 yen.
Yeah.
As keihi, as an expense.
Yeah.
And the area that you can't write off if they're not registered is 20% of that 2,000 yen sales tax.
Yeah.
Uh,
So 400 yen, your tax might be increased. So you can expense.
yes, I think, Ryan, you'd lose 400 yen in that case.
Yeah.
That is correct. Thanks for the help. I know you know the answer. So thanks for helping out.
Right, thank you for the chat. In that case, you can. Yeah, that's correct. That's what I meant. Thank you.
And thanks for putting it in text, Ryan.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan's question is, and I think this includes like independent shops on Amazon too, right?
Yeah, and convenience store and
franchises.
Convenience store. Franchises.
So I think,
I guess they must register.
yeah, I
because
think
franchisees ask
Wait.
them to register.
I guess where that question came from, what we were told by our accountant is every individual 7-Eleven would have its own tax number. There would not be a single 7-Eleven tax number, for example.
So in the convenience store, you can expense your payment and sales tax. Both of them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess what we were told is to be very careful at each individual convenience store, for example, because they're technically small businesses and some might have it written and some not. Just because it's a 7-Eleven doesn't mean that there's a 7-Eleven tax number.
Oh,
Shinpei, do you understand?
yeah.
So what's the question again? So this is the situation.
Well, it was more a confirmation that we need to be checking the tax number for each individual small business, even if they might have the same brand name, or be, for example, in Amazon, we're purchasing them all through Amazon, but we have to check the individual tax number for each seller on Amazon. It was my understanding and just getting a confirmation on that.
Now I understand. Yeah, so I think his question is, you're dealing with a business that has a lot of independents under it.
Yeah.
So like in this case, if you purchase from Amazon or Rakuten, but you're actually, is it going to be, so Ryan, I think it is, right? Or
Amazon has
each vendor has a different.
Each vendor.
Or are you purchasing it from the?
No. Amazon products is deductible.
But I guess franchisees like
Yeah.
Right, franchisees like convenience stores.
And Amazon and big convenience store like Lawson, Family Mart, 7-Eleven. Their expenses are all deductible.
But if they have their tax number written on the receipt.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess where where our accountant was telling us to be careful is that when we're keeping track of tax numbers, we have to keep track of each individual tax number. That each individual 7-Eleven franchise would have a different tax number.
Yes, I think the management is, or is a, so I'm confused. Sorry, I was typing, but I think maybe Shinpei and I might be confused on the question again, or is it just a statement?
Well, again, I'm trying to confirm what I'm hearing from my accountant with Shinpei on, because if we're having to keep track of tax numbers, you know, we might make the mistake of feeling like, oh, I've got 7-Eleven's tax number, but we may have to keep. We're gonna have to. My understanding is we would have to keep track of the tax number for each individual 7-Eleven location, and make sure each individual location has the number written on their receipt. If it's written on there, I know we can deduct it, but that that there may be many individual small tax numbers we have to keep track of.
So I guess, yeah, so I guess or so I think the question is not yes or no if we have to track it, or is it more like, is there an easy way to do it, or?
Well, I guess it's more of a confirmation that yes,
I see.
we have to,
Gotcha.
we would have to track each individual tax number.
Gotcha.
So it's a combination, it's a confirmation, but also asking the question partially because if it is true, making sure that everyone else in the meeting realizes that we may have to keep track of far more tax numbers than just a brand name tax,
Gotcha.
you know,
Yeah,
a tax number
thanks.
for one brand name.
So Shinpei, the question is, it's a yes or no question. If it's, I think we all, but just for everyone, just so there's a clear understanding, yes or no question. So we have to, do we have to keep track of a lot of tax numbers?
Each recipient, each individual tax number. Basically, yes.
Yes, gotcha.
Yeah.
And I guess my question to that, do you know if, yeah, all right, never mind. This is a statement, not a question, but I'm hoping that the invoice image recorders from Money Forward and Free can pick up this number.
Yeah. Money Forward and Free can change the system on accounting.
Do you know if they're making changes to that to fix the image readers so it's easier?
Oh yeah, and from 2025 or 6, it starts and Densu Chobo, electric receipt. And you can take the photo of receipt.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's in 2025.
Yeah, 2025.
Okay. Gotcha, but now I think the paper is primary, right? So I guess until 2025, we need paper receipts.
Yeah.
I see. I guess the accountants print it, but I guess from 2025, it'll be purely digital receipts.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Jared, did we answer your last question? Cool. Does anyone else have any questions on this unduly complicated system? And Ryan, thanks for asking questions just to confirm that everyone has an understanding. So So I think for the first part, that 50% sales tax we collect from every receipt, is this from the B2C case?
If you're paying 50% on sales tax, we collect.
Major, you can speak. It might be easier.
Yeah, it might be easier. Okay, so basically, at the beginning of every year, we like declare that we're just going to pay 50% of the sales tax we collect instead of going through every receipt, because most of our money is coming from students and people, and we don't have many business clients, and we have lots of things that we buy, but it usually doesn't like match up. So the 50% is we keep 50%, we pay 50%. I think we've been doing that for years. And so we don't actually calculate how much sales tax per receipt we're paying and then pay that back. We just like pay 50% of what we collect. And that's been our consumption tax burden for a long time. So in that case, we don't actually need to worry so much about this for our tax burden. We just need to make sure that.
So you're using kaikaze, simplified.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I got it. In this case, this is accurate. It's correct.
So we don't really need to worry about the 7-Eleven's tax number then.
Yeah, that's
for us.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That makes
For the B2C, gotcha. For the
B2C.
Right?
Yeah. So we just need our tax number. We need our tax number for when we give invoices to other people.
Yeah.
But we don't really need to worry about the mom and pop sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
Great.
Just no worries.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your payment's still 50% of the collection.
And I think for the next question, but I guess for the next question for the B2B, they need to make so I think that's his first question. The second question, Shinpei, is
second question
for the B2B clients.
I didn't answer. Didn't.
Oh no, let's say we didn't ask, clarify, but for his second question, it was but for our B2B clients, we need to make sure that the number is there. Jared, do you mean for the B2B clients, you need to make sure that the tax number is there?
Right. So like when we give out a Seikyu or whatever, when we give out an invoice, we need to make sure our number's on there for their sake.
Yes.
Yep. Got it.
Yes, that is correct. And in my case, I think I will send an email to everyone later, but I think I haven't decided for 2024, but I might incorporate in 2024. But for 2023, I will bill you for October, November, December, or with the sales tax before the system changes, so you can deduct it. Because I will not be a taxable entity in 2023. So yeah, unless you want to pay that extra 20%. But so yeah, just to give a heads up, I will bill for October, November, December in one swoop at the end of September before the system, if you want to have that 100%. Does anyone have, but I'll send an email later to everyone about that. Does anyone have any other questions about this invoice system? Sounds good. So I think Shinpei, thank you. I think we can move on to the next section, but
thank you.
Was there any other changes in 2023?
That's it. There's two changes. Yeah.
So I'll let you mention about match point, then we'll go into Q&A afterwards.
I finished explaining the whole process so far, and I'm just gonna talk about our company, Match Points. And we were founded in 2019 with 7 members, and we'll have 85 members this August. Our goal is to expand further and become the #1 tax accounting firm in Japan in 5 years. Our clients are nationwide, and we also help foreign companies that have expanded into Japan, as well as Japanese companies that have expanded into foreign countries. And our strength is that we do not have a single person in charge, but rather a team of people with different roles. In many cases, accounting firms assign a single apprentice to be in charge of your company, but we have a team of specialists to support your business. And we specialize not only in taxation, but also in streamlining cash management and accounting operations. In particular, we are one of the best in Japan at implementing Manifold. I'd be happy to help you today. And why choose Matchpoint? With over 10 years of experience, we pride ourselves on being foreigner friendly. We know how challenging accounting can be in another language. We're here to take care of your accounting needs at a fair price point. The certified public accountants, corporate and sales tax experts, upfront pricings, nationwide most for. Thank you very much.
You can
Okay,
go to the next section.
Okay, I like to talk about our fees. Our fees. If you sign up, you get 1 month free using the code scaling your company. And our fees are two ways. One-time consulting, 12,000 yen an hour, one-time free. And our monthly fee starting from 30,000 yen plus tax, but no extra charges. While most accounting firms charge extra fees in addition to monthly fees such as tax returns, year-end adjustment, and so on. But our monthly fees are all included, therefore we don't charge extra. Plus, if you're looking for an accountant, please reach out to us. And if you're looking for a second opinion, we do one-off consultations and you get 1 month free if you sign up. Thank you very much. Okay.
Then maybe if anyone needs help submitting that form, you can
Can I
look
ask a
in for a
question?
one. I'll go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt, but so you don't charge the end of year fee like I
Yeah,
used to pay 80,000 or
yeah.
100,000.
We don't
You don't
charge any
charge
extra.
that.
We only
That's a-
charge an tax audit, Zen-chosa.
Oh,
Right.
if we're audited, but that doesn't
Yeah.
happen very often.
We only charge extra for Zen-chosa, but tax returns, year-end adjustment, any other things with taxation, we not charge extra.
You submit it all on our behalf?
Sorry. No,
Do you submit all the paperwork to
yeah,
the government on our behalf?
yeah. 届け出、決算、年末調整、償却資産、everything.
And that's all 33,000 a month. 3万3000円月に全部。
うん。
That is correct.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So typically, I think the kessan or the year-end. So I don't know the English, but the year-end tax for corporations. I think normally they charge Jugomon, I think, but it's included in the price. Or
Yeah,
Jumon to Jugomon.
maybe Kessan's fee or 4 month fee because so.
But Shinpei, I think one thing though is the 33,000 yen.
Yeah.
How many employees does this apply to? I think if you have a certain number of employees, it does increase, right?
And maybe five or six.
And is this 5 or 6 employees, like
Yeah,
Arubaito or
yeah.
Shain?
And zenbu de 5人.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, everything is up to 5. Or how does the price work above? A lot of my clients here have more than 5 employees.
It's about monthly, maybe 5 or 6 or.
Let's
It's
see.
just
Let's see.
estimation.
Let's see if they have around maybe 10 employees.
10 employees might be 5.
5,000 yen extra.
Yeah. Extra monthly fees are just a little bit.
little bit higher.
Yeah.
Do you know how much higher, or does it depend on the case?
And it depends on sales or members or transaction. And how do you say how much transaction on accounting?
Gotcha. Do you have,
And bookkeeping.
yeah, the bookkeeping, right? How many? The minor.
The bookkeeping is including.
Yeah, the bookkeeping is included. So I think because if there's more than 5 people, I think you have to upgrade the money forward plan.
Yeah.
And I think you have to do, I think the system changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some, but you mentioned 5. Let's say if they have 会社が10人のスタッフがいて、
Yeah.
でもbookkeeping、簿記が結構シンプル。
ええ。
で、大体月いくらぐらい
3から5ぐらいです。
gotcha.
3,000 to from 3,000 to 50,000.
Yen extra.
Yeah. Extra monthly fee.
The monthly fee is 30,000 to 50,000?
Yeah.
If it's about 10 employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still not charge extra.
For the year end.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Nick, does that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty well. Do you have a specific software you have us use?
They can use Xero and
Yeah,
QuickBooks, which is English.
Yeah.
And money forward and free. And I think you guys can do Yayoi Kaike, right?
Yeah, it's okay. And Kanjo Bugyo Kaikeyo.
But I think you guys, but yeah, because I think you use Xero or QuickBooks with some clients, right? Yeah, so they can use Xero or QuickBooks as well. Cool. And if you're curious, you can also have a free consultation with Shinpei.
Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, we have, I think, 15 minutes left, but does anyone have any questions for Shinpei?
And if you have an individual question, just email me later. I'll answer all of your questions. Didn't I share my email address?
Yeah, I think there's a contact form at the website, but
okay.
You can put your email address in the chat.
Oh, so okay, I'll put it on chat.
Yeah, you can put the email address in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent it swakana@matchpointor.jp. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me.
Also, if you have any friends who are looking for an accountant, you can get 1 month free off the first month.
Yeah, everything 1 month free. It's okay.
Cool. Thank you, everyone, for attending. And have a nice day.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. So we're gonna close it in 5.